What's up, guys? Ryan with Jedha Patrol back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the newly released and newly shipping INART Superman from BVS. Super excited for this one. I do have the nice little slipcover they put on these things, which are nice. It says Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. But these are super reflective, as you can see. And it looks good. Superman, INART 16 Collectibles. There's that. The packaging for INART figures is unlike any other. Like the chances of one of these getting damaged is just so slim that I really appreciate how they put these things together. But anyways, nice, beautiful box, sturdy construction. All we expect from INART at this point. But like I said, INART logo here, got a nice little silhouette of Kal-El going on there, and then we've got the nice little logo going on. So there's that, and then on the side, we got some bats and like high gloss. You can kind of see the light bouncing off them. Got some bats going on there, BVS symbol, and then on the back, Batman Dawn of Justice. If you seek his monument, look around you. So there's that. And then there we go. Superman INART 16 collectible figure. So nice box. Certainly manageable in size. It's nothing crazy. So we'll open this bad boy up. And we've got another BVS logo going on here. Typical packaging we got with INART. We got the instruction book, which is always nice to have. It tells you exactly everything you need to know. This is a custom body they built specifically for Superman, so there's some instructions in here regarding that. And then also, which I find super helpful, it tells you which hand is what. So there's all this stuff. If you guys want to pause that, you can do that. If you plan on getting this figure, it tells you where everything goes. So if you end up reselling yours or parting ways with it, trading it, whatever, you'll know where, what hand goes where. And then we've got what it'll do as far as posability, and even the instructions here, like the silhouette of the body here looks just like the freaking figure. But there's an example of what's going on in the instructions for those who care. We've got obviously some magnetic hands going on. We've got the Krypton spear thing going on here, Kryptonite spear, and then we've got different capes we can switch out if we like to. It tells you on how to do that. So we'll look at that in a little bit. Diorama base, which we're definitely going to be taking a look at. And then the instructions on how to actually make it fly. So that's going to be kind of important because this is something we haven't seen before as far as how it's going to fly. Typical with INART, you get your little movie ticket. Nice little Superman there. Looks great. This is with obviously the angry head sculpt on the figure. And then release date 9/25/2023. And yeah, pretty cool. So let's get that. We got several tiers of packaging to go through. I went through and removed all the plastic, save us some time. So you're welcome. I'll get this out of here. You're greeted first up with the figure itself. We got the body. This is exactly how it comes. The angry head sculpt's going to come over here. And then we don't have to worry about the Futurama style domes for these because, well, this is not a rooted hair figure. It's a sculpted hair figure. Piles of hands. Kryptonite spear going on here from BVS, and then we have our Superman. So where should we start? Let's start here. Let's go with that. So it does come pre-installed with the drape cape. So we'll start with that. Drape cape, beautiful, nice little red, which is a contrasting red to the boot. You can kind of see there, which looks beautiful as well. But nice weight to it. It's as far as draping goes. When we get to the posing section, you'll see that is just nice weight, nice material, feels premium. Everything looks pretty good with that. As far as the body goes, some super cool stuff going on with the body, which I was not expecting. So we'll get to that in just a second, but this is how it looks just straight out of the packaging. So we've got that guy. We've got our angry head sculpt. We've got a pile of hands. Again, the Kryptonite spear. And then underneath, get this guy out of here. We've got our base, and we've got our pictures of Martha going on here. Nice little Polaroids. We've got a nice chunk of Kryptonite. If I can get this thing out of here. Nice chunk of Kryptonite. Looks pretty cool. It's a green resin type thing with some shading going on there. And then I want to say this was the grenade with the Kryptonite gas. It's been a while since I've seen BVS, but I think that was like a grenade thing and it exploded with Kryptonite gas, I think. Our flight pole, our diorama base. If we can get this guy out of here. Looks pretty good with our magnets. We can deal with that in just a second. And then underneath that, flight pole and the wired cape. So that's what's coming in here. So let's go ahead and we'll kind of break some of this stuff down, get into this, and we'll start with the figure itself, and then we'll get into the hands and everything it comes with in just a second. So let's get the box out of the way, make our workspace a little neater. So let's start with our Superman body. Now, number one, completely a shock to me. Maybe not a shock to you guys, but I was not expecting a chrome body. Like it's straight up, the paint application underneath the actual ab section and everything is, I mean, straight up chrome. You can see like the specular highlights coming off this thing is not due to the suit material, it's due to the actual body, which is interesting to me. Like we've reviewed other Superman figures where the suit is has that specular highlights and kind of silverish stuff going on, but here you're seeing the reflections you're seeing is actually coming from the body. Now, how do I tell you that? Well, we'll zoom in even more and I'll show you this. This is what I'm talking about. Check the suit. Look at that. The suit is super, super thin, and it's actually a see-through material that they've screen printed the texture onto. So some different textures going on the bicep, like this section right here. But the screen printed texture they've got on, which I'm assuming is some kind of vinyl-ish material. I'm not a fashion expert, I don't know. But it does look pretty cool. But I was not expecting to see like a chrome body. Maybe I just missed that part in the press release when it was first announced. And this is my first time seeing it. So, but it looks very cool. Now, durability of that, to be determined. I have some, we'll see. I don't know. This is something I've never seen before on a 6-scale figure. I can tell you the appearance of it is beautiful. Like it's just straight up great. The proportions, the delts look great. He looks less wide, less huge shoulders than the Hot Toys version, which I think this is more going to be a little bit more accurate, I think. Don't get me wrong, Henry Cavill bulked up for these films, but that Hot Toys, the black suit from Justice League, like that, he was freaking bulked. I digress. I think this looks great. Now, some people didn't like the BVS symbol here, or the House L logo here, but this is just, I think it works. It's nice. You see like the reflective and going on with the red and the yellow. It's kind of an off yellowish, dimmed yellow. It's not a bright Batman yellow, if you will. And then we've got another belt thing going on here and kind of wraps around the side. I mean, proportion-wise, I think it's great. Again, with the body coming underneath, you can see all the ab work, the obliques going on here. You can see the delts going on, the front delt, mid delt, rear delt, triceps back here, sculpted in here, biceps. It all looks quite, all the musculature is the actual body. So you can kind of see how it wraps around here, even the thighs here. I mean, he did not skip leg day. On the back, we do have a zipper. Now, the zipper is going to come into play when the flight pole comes into play. We're going to have to zip this up. There's an insert here where we put in the flight pole. We'll check that out in just a second. But this suit overall, absolutely freaking stellar. So, head sculpt. And we'll get boots in here in a second. Head sculpt wise, I think it's a winner. Absolutely a winner. Now, one of the things you got to take in a note with having recently reviewed, obviously, Gandalf and then Aragorn, go check out the Aragorn video, by the way, is those figures, those characters have a lot more weathering and detail and wear in their appearance. So you get, sometimes at 6-scale, older figures look a little better and look a little bit more realistic. Superman's supposed to be the perfect guy, right? So he's not going to have a lot of blemishes and everything. So pretty clean, and I think this works just fine for me. I think it works well, actually. Sculpted hair, I don't really think we needed rooted hair for this. It's got this nice little curl thing going on over there. However, because you have sculpted hair, then you've got this seam going on here, if I can get the focus. You've got the neck seam. You've got a split head and neck combo, and it's gonna be more visible, right? So you want to make sure wherever you're getting this thing posed at, wherever you pose it, whatever angle you got at, you can hide it a little bit. On the backside, yeah, you're gonna see it, right? So that doesn't bother me too much, but it might bother some of you. So take note of that if you like. Now, because we have a super thin material on the suit, the concerns from somebody who likes to pose figures is the material going to get caught up in the joints, right? So we go down here, you can kind of see, kind of bunched up here in the elbow section. Like, it's not bad, but get this in here, and then you've got this going on here. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Longevity is the concern on that one. You know, these figures are so pricey. I don't know how many of you actually go out there and just pose these things like crazy. Or if you put it in some kind of museum style pose and just display it and you just leave it be. I'm going to have mine flying. No question about that. I think that's going to be the coolest part, having the wired cape and then the flight pole. I think that's going to look pretty sick. So I'm not too worried about that. But it is a concern, depending on what kind of pose you want to do with this thing. Now, the other thing I thought was interesting is the wrist pegs. Let me see if I can show you this right here. The wrist pegs are that silver color, right? I was not expecting that. I expected it to be tan, and to match skin tone or whatever. That's kind of what I was expecting. Tan would have made sense. Blue would have made sense. It's just going to depend. We got to make sure we pull this all the way down and cover up that gap. Like, you can cover up the gap. It can happen. But you just want to make sure you do that, because you really don't want to see that silver wrist peg. Nobody will see that. Now, as far as knees, yes, you got a double bend on the knees. And yes, you can kind of see the joints and stuff going on with that. And that might not be ideal. So, you know, in the comment section, should they have gone with a seamless body? I don't think so. I think this works, but again, these are going to be areas of concern for longevity. The boot's going on here, nice texture going on all down the boot, and then underneath you got this nice texture on the bottom. I mean, it looks, the appearance, again, INART's going for appearance. It is beautiful. It appears to be screen accurate. You got plenty of movement going on here. Nice ankle movement going on there. I mean, it looks great. It looks great. I really don't have any complaints other than the wrist peg. Like, I would like to see a tan color or a skin color wrist peg, or maybe blue. That would be my only nitpick for that part. But outside of that, absolutely beautiful, beautiful piece. But let's go ahead and get into some of the other pieces. Look at the other head sculpt, and then we'll take a look at the hands. Change out the head. Typical INART style neck peg, it just pulls straight up. Be careful not to get any marks on the neck. You don't want that, so try to do that. And it just sits like that. Now, you do have on both head sculpts, you got the joysticks for movable eyes. You can move those independently. And then we're going to pop this guy on here. There we go. Okay. So there we go. Here's our angry look. Look at that. That is crazy cool. Now, again, movable eyes on this one as well. It's got the curl going on this sculpt, which he doesn't have on this sculpt, so difference there. Obviously, furrowed brow. It looks great. I think this is going to be the one most people are going to use. I kind of like the other one, but I feel like this one's a look we haven't seen properly done on a Superman 6-scale figure ever. Like, really, really well done, and I feel like they absolutely nailed it here. So this is probably what we end up with. I like the movable eyes. They don't light up, but they do look very nice, even though they're not illuminated. They're nicely painted. I think that looks quite good. So what do you guys think? Angry? I think more or less people, it kind of needs to be looking, his like chin needs to be down and his eyes need to be looking up. When we get the posing section, we'll really look at that. But yeah, that's a win. As far as hands go on the figure itself, a couple of relaxed hands. Got those guys. We'll go ahead and bring in the box back over here and we'll kind of dissect some of these things and see what else we got. So let's see. We've got some more right and left, more gesturing hands. And they literally call them gesturing hands. So they're just kind of, do this. We've got a right and left fist hand because you're punching bats and you gotta have a fist. A right and left hand for holding the spear, or I suppose any others, but these are specifically for the spear. So we got a right and left version of that. The hands are painted nicely. Again, not a crazy weathering like we saw on Gandalf, the age spots and stuff like that, because it's Superman. Couple gripping hands. So we've got one here for gripping the photos, right? And then we've got another hand kind of just holding whatever. There's that. And then we get specific hands back here. One hems with a magnet in the palm to hold the Batman cowl, which we'll get to in a little bit. And then another one here for holding the grenade canister thing. So there's that. Now, as far as the spear, this thing is beautiful. Let me get this out of the way for a second. I want you to appreciate this. This thing is freaking massive. Now, if I bring Soups out here, as far as height-wise, it's literally taller than it's taller than Superman. So it's got to be what, 13 inches tall ish. Beautifully done. It is plastic, so it's not die cast. I got a little spear of kryptonite going on here. I think this is beautiful. Nice silver wash. There's multiple different shades of grays and washes going on this thing. It is quite good. So one day, for those of you who had the BVS Batman in different versions, armored version, chromed armored version, all kind of different versions, I think this one actually looks better than ones we've seen in the past. So there's that. Jumping back in the box. Let's see what's on the bottom shelf. Get all that stuff out of here. And diorama base we kind of looked at already. So let's look at the cowl. If I can do that. Here we got our cowl here. It's almost, I want to say it's like almost like a really dark brown, bronzy, green, black color. Like it's not straight just, maybe it's my eyes playing tricks on me, but it doesn't look like it's just straight black. It's got some color grading, I guess we'll go with that. But it does have an indentation here for that magnetic hand. Show you how that works right here. Here's our hand, here's our magnet. And yeah, there you go. Pretty simple. Oh. We do have our magnetic hand, so we can got this guy right here, and it goes just like this, and it should hold it just like that. So that looks pretty cool. Kind of dig that. I'm gonna put that to the side. We got photographs of Martha, which are gonna be super, super, super tiny. How many of those? We got 4 of those. Yeah, why'd you say that name? All that kind of stuff, Polaroids. We looked at that already. Now the wired cape comes bunched up at the bottom. We're gonna have to come up with posing options for this. Magnets up here at the top, we'll get to that, but I think this is beautiful. This is essentially the same material, well, it looks like to me. Yeah. It's the exact same material, it's just one wired, one not, so it should look exactly the same. Coloration looks perfect, seams, lines look great, stitching looks great. The only difference is, well, one's got wires on the bottom and sides and one doesn't. And then we've got this guy. So just real quick, let's go ahead and pop that guy on the figure before we jump over to the posing section, because somebody might go, how do you do that? No, so let's find out together. So a little zipper right here. Not a big fan of little zippers like this because they break on me, but I'm gonna be super extra careful. There we go. And then we've got, there we go. We got this guy right here. I love this idea especially for not showing a flight stand and not having anything damage your figure. I mean, I just love this idea. So there we go. Beautiful, got a nice rod. I mean, this feels very sturdy. I don't think we're having any issues with that. But that's how it works. And that was really easy to do. So good job, INART. Let's pose this guy up. All right, so this first pose, this is simple. This is just him standing on the diorama base, nothing crazy going on here. And I just want to give you guys a look at the proportions of the actual figure. I think it's beautiful. I think the shoulder, the waist, like the bicep, like everything I think is absolutely nailed it. I think they nailed the head sculpt on both versions, which we'll definitely look at the angry version a little later in the video. But I think they absolutely nailed it. And if all you had this guy doing was standing there on the display like this with the drape cape, I think it's a win. Now, I know most of you guys are going to be out there, doing some other poses, which we're definitely going to be doing some other poses. But that chrome undersuit or chrome body that's kind of shining through, the lights bouncing off of it, is kind of cool. And I was not expecting that, but I'm kind of impressed, honestly. It's pretty nice. Now, I do want to use some of the accessories. So I broke out the spear, and I'll be honest with you, I copied one of the poses they did in one of the promo photos. I changed out the hands. I will talk more about that a little later in the video and give my thoughts on that, because I do have thoughts, and they are strong, I'll be honest with you guys. But this guy looks pretty freaking stellar, depending on how you want to have them posed up, and if you want to have that double bend on your display for a very long time. And this is probably how I'm going to have mine displayed. I love the friendlier sculpt on it. I think the wiring on this cape, the wired cape, is absolutely freaking fantastic. The strength of the wires is fantastic. The proportions are fantastic. Like, everything about this I'm a big fan of. And for a superhero Superman 6-scale figure, I'm not sure how you get any better than that. I mean, you can decide if you like one suit from a movie over a different suit from a movie. You can go from there. But as far as a figure goes, it's pretty good. Now, I thought I was going to be in love with the angry sculpt versus the friendly sculpt, but I got to be honest with you guys, I do like this one. I think the likeness on this one is probably stronger to Cavill, but I like the friendlier sculpt better. I don't know. There's just something about it for me. It's just personal preference. It's not good or bad. But this looks great depending on what you want to have on there. Now, I would have changed out the hands for fists to make him more fierce, but there's a reason I didn't do that, so I'll talk more about that here in just a second. All right, so let's talk about this Superman from INART. Number one, it is beautiful. No question about it. It is absolutely beautiful. The head sculpts, I think they nailed them, both of them. I thought when I first unboxed this, I would be leaning towards the angry sculpt, but I gotta be honest with you guys, I kind of really like just the regular, normal, unangry Clark Kent. I kind of like that one. So probably going to go with that one. Now, I will be honest with you guys. I have a little bit of a deadline on getting this video out, and it just got delivered, well, about 5 hours ago. So I have a little bit of deadline on this video. I would like to have some more time to spend with it. I would like that. Unfortunately, for this video, I just don't. As far as posing wise, I think I've got the grasp of what we're getting. But as far as posing wise, there's some things I ran into, which I've ran into with every single INART figure, and that is the hands. I mean, they're just the absolute worst. In all of 6 scale, like, they're on sideshow level with the hands. It's just terrible. Which is a real shame because, you know, whenever I go to change out, especially when making YouTube videos, so if I can make a review of this and I want to do a lot of poses, I want to use all these amazing hands and accessories they give us, to have to break out a hairdryer every time to heat up the hand, to change the hand, and it's just, it's unnecessary. I don't understand their fascination with these giant, thick wrist pegs and the hands, and I've yet to find an INART figure that I have not had that issue with. So, I mean, I love the figure. I think it's beautiful. The suit is beautiful, but the changing out the hands is just, it's enough to make you want to say things that you shouldn't say around children. And so if you're going to change the hands, make sure there's no kids around, because you're going to say things. Now, I will say this as well. Part of the issue with the hands on this particular one is the suit being so flexible on the actual body. So if you're actually maneuvering like I showed you earlier in the unboxing section, where the suit kind of moves around, so you're fighting with you can't get a good purchase on the hand and the arm and elbow in order to have enough force, enough traction to change the hands after heating them up. It's just the suit because you don't want to destroy the suit. Like, I straight up thought I was going to destroy this figure while changing the hands. And I was so frustrating because it really shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't. So INART, whoever is in charge of that particular design, you should fire them immediately, because it's just, I know I'm not the only one frustrated with this one. It's just bad. Outside of that, that is my only nitpick with this figure. And it's been my nitpick with every single INART figure I've reviewed. The Joker, Aragorn, Gandalf, Harry Potter video to come. Stay tuned for that one. He's over there. Actually, that Harry Potter figure, because he's smaller, no issues with the hands. So thank you for that one. But these adult 6-scale figures definitely is a thing. But this guy has shelf presence. The cape is flipping amazing. I mean, the amount of wires and everything, the strength that they wire, it's beautiful. Beautiful. I will definitely spend some more time shaping the cape into a pose that I'm in love with. Currently, I think this one works. Now, I am cheating on this pose. I got to be honest with you. I am cheating. And it's literally wrapped, or if I do this, it kind of falls this way. So I have like one of the bins like wrapped around the flight pole, kind of like clamped it, and it kind of does that. So that's how I did that, if you're wondering, because gravity is certainly wanting it to go that way, right? So a little bit of a cheat, but I think that works. I love the idea of the flight pole, this acrylic rod, and it just kind of pegging into the back of the figure. I think that's the way to go. I think it's great. It does limit poses because you don't have that bendable gooseneck arm to be able to get him in those flight poses and to be able to get him in crazy angles and whatever. But I don't think that's what INART's going for. I think INART's going for display pieces that are the most accurate, the most beautiful, I guess, if you will, on the shelf. And they're not really going for the will it do crazy poses deal. I don't think they're going for the museum. This is my collection. It is beautiful. It's beautifully lit. It's beautifully displayed. It's given space and breadth. I think that's what they're going for with all these pieces. So they're not going crazy dropping 100 figures a year. So for that reason, I'm gonna give them a slight pass on the gooseneck versus the acrylic rod and just having this static flight pose here. Now, I will tell you, posing it, you definitely want to be careful not. Don't break the acrylic rod. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't break the acrylic rod. Be careful with that. Get it in a somewhat of a pose before you put it on the stand, and I think you're in good shape. But I love, like, let me digress here. They give you accessories. INART gives you all these accessories. The kryptonite block here, the Batman cowl with the magnetic hand, which I'm definitely never going to use. The spear I might use, the kryptonite gas grenade thing, I'll never use that. INART gives you all these accessories. I'm thinking like Harry Potter as well. And then Aragorn and Gandalf came with so many accessories that a lot of the stuff is unnecessary, and none of us, or many of us, will never use a lot of these accessories. For me, Superman, again, probably with the normal head sculpt, on a flight pose, just kind of being heroic and sitting there. That's what I'm going for. You might go for the angry sculpt. You might go for the spear, and that's fine. Having options is okay, but for me, this is kind of what I think the INART's going for. It's something that's beautiful on the shelf. Something when you walk in, you go, that's freaking gorgeous, and that looks like Henry Cavill, and that looks like Gandalf, and that look all the stuff. And I think they did a really good job on this one. So the head sculpts, I like both of them. But after posing this guy, I'm just gonna swap it out. I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna swap it out because I think, and I know it's gonna be controversial. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below. I like my Superman a little bit more heroic than angry, right? Yeah, and I'll do a little bit more of the billowing of the cape in a little bit. And if you'd like to see a separate posing video with this, I'll be happy to do that. You gotta let me know in the comment section down below. It will take time because, again, changing the hands, complete worst interaction with the figure that I've had. It's just not fun. Be very careful with yours whenever you get yours. Now I will tell you this. Now, there's going to be some out there that are very, very, very angry that some reviewers have this. So I will say this. INART has said that this is good. We're included in the first customer batch. Okay, so it's not an influencer batch or a reviewer batch or any of that mess. Literally, the first batch of these is shipping. Bam. I do think INART needs to reduce the time and the number of batches. I'm not sure what the production goes on, the production line and all the logistics of that, but I do think they need to shrink the time between first, customer A gets their figure and customer Z gets their figure, or Z if you're in a different part of the world, customer Z gets their figure. I think that time's got to shrink. It can't be 6 months. It can't be 8 months. It just can't. You're just alienating your customer base, and it's just not a good thing. So that, I think they definitely got, and I think they know they got to work on that, but get got to speed that process up a little bit. So for those of you who have this on order, I think you're going to be very pleased. For those of you who missed out on it, there'll be other figures. I mean, that's just how it is. Well, there's always something new coming out. I think it's a beautiful figure. I'm a little concerned about, again, the hands and the longevity of this super, super thin suit that's on it. But once you get it posed and it's on the shelf, I think the only thing you really got to worry about is dust, because I don't think this is one you're going to go back to over and over and over again. I just don't see that being this figure. If it was a Spider-Man figure, I'd say, yeah, it probably would. But this is beautiful. Henry Cavill, the best Superman, other than Christopher Reeve. Clearly, Christopher Reeve, #1. I mean, Brandon Routh is okay, but Cavill kind of got the shaft on the whole Snyderverse thing. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. What I'm trying to say is, I like this figure. If you want it, get it. If you already got it coming, I think you're going to be happy with it. Thanks, Pop Collectibles, for sourcing this for me. Very, very kind. Yeah, that's all I got. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, collect what you like. See you next time.